Good evening, and thank you so much for being here. We are thrilled to kickstart our monthly series and empower you with education. Please feel free to speak up and ask questions along the way. We want this to be interactive, and most importantly, we want you to have your curiosities and questions answered. Our first topic in our The Truth Is series is Botox. And understanding the basics of Botox is where we'll start. Now, not everyone knows this, but Botox is a brand, and Botox has commercial competitors such as Dysport and Xeomin. These are all neuromodulators, which are wrinkle-relaxing injections of botulinum toxin. And while they are all neuromodulators, not all are created equal. My preference for Botox is yielded from its consistent formulation, meaning Botox is predictable, where other neuromodulators vary to a degree that may jeopardize your outcome. So, bad Botox may not actually be Botox. It could simply be another neuromodulator being marketed the same as Botox. Knowing the qualifications of your injector is key, just like not all neuromodulators are equal, nor are the injectors. Look for a licensed individual with a medical background. So, an RN, NP, PA, or an MD are all good places to start. Regardless, make sure they know their anatomy. So we know that Botox is a branded neuromodulator, but who is Botox meant for? Why should I consider it? Where can it be used? When and where should I start? How often do I need to maintain it? What are the long-term benefits? Is it preventative? And if I let it go for a year, do I lose all the benefits I had gained while I maintained it? There's a lot to consider within each of these questions, and while we can confidently say that absolutely everyone can benefit from Botox, it's important to know why. So let's deep dive into how our skin develops the wrinkles we see when we animate, laugh, smile, or question our spouses. It's important to put into context where these wrinkles are coming from. While we might be quick to say, my skin is so wrinkly, it may surprise you to hear that this has nothing to do with your skin. Instead, it has everything to do with what controls the movement of our skin. As we age, our skin loses the ability to rebound and it slowly gives way. The majority of age-dependent changes that occur in our skin happen in the dermis. The skin can lose 20 to 80% of its thickness during the aging process, and this is the result of changes in fibroblasts, the cell responsible for collagen and elastin. When we look at this side by side of a mother and daughter, we can appreciate the changes of time and life. You'll note a downward drift of volume structural changes and the skin's inability to hold itself up, if you will. When we were young, the triangle of youth is actually inverted. Notice the supporting structure of the high cheekbones and fuller cheeks that help define the jawbone, versus her mother, where the widest part of the triangle illustrates where her once young volume has drifted to. Now back to the thought that wrinkles are a skin issue. I'll respond with sort of, but not really. While the skin does experience the loss of collagen and moisture as it ages, lines and wrinkles set in. The skin starts to sag around the eye, pigment irregularities begin to catch your eye, and you find yourself hell-bent to lose weight thinking you'll correct for the new jowls that you see. I'll remind you that the fix lies underneath the skin. There isn't anything on the market that you can apply topically to backfill the wrinkles you are seeing when you activate the muscles that create these lines. Now, what you see here is an illustration of the fat pads that provide structure. And as we age, the fat pads atrophy and shrink. This process causes the lines, wrinkles, and folds you might be struggling with. Simultaneously, our bones are aging. Bones, as you can imagine, are the supporting framework of our face. And as with fat, as bones deplete, we begin to see sagging skin, prominent jowls, and hollowed out under eyes. Botox doesn't take away the lines in the face. It simply works on the muscle that controls the facial expression that creates the lines. Make sense? Now, let's translate all of that into how you see things when you look in the rearview mirror at a stoplight. What things do you see? What bugs you the most? While you think about these, we are simultaneously thinking about which muscle groups contribute to this movement and where we'll be injecting. We can see here the muscles that create our expressions. For example, our frown lines are made up of two muscle groups. We inject into these muscles to keep them from contracting. Circling back to some of our original questions, we've identified that Botox is a neuromodulator that is injected into muscle groups to keep them from contracting and creating a line. Botox is for everyone. The best time to start Botox is before you see a line. Once there is a line, Botox won't remove it. However, over time, with consistent every 3-month treatments, you will see resolution of that resting line. Lasting benefits. Now you can try Botox and never try it again. You will always be better off with treatments regardless of how many than if you had never done it at all. People who invest in Botox here and there, even if infrequently, are always better off than those who never invest. Studies have shown that consistent use of Botox can increase elastin production in the skin, providing the skin a bit more rebound. So yes, Botox is preventative. Now flip into some real life before and after photos. The important thing to notice here, Botox doesn't change your appearance. You still look like you. You just look fresher. Your face will still move, you will still smile, your brows will still go up and down. You just won't create a line when you do it. Here's a video on how consultations are done and the different areas of the face are evaluated, followed by an actual treatment and dosing video.
Hi, so today we have Andrea, who is going to be our injection model today. And Andrea is 40 years old, and although she has had Botox before, she's always injected just her frown lines or her forehead lines, and never really anything else. And her last treatment was in June, so we're going to really see some pretty active movement. So what we're going to look at with Andrea here is some of her facial movements. And so the first thing I'm going to ask Andrea to do is frown and brows together for me, so we can see how she's got some movement in her the corrugators. She's pretty in her proceros right in through here, but we're kind of looking at where those movements are taking place. And then I'm going to have you relax, and I'm going to have you lift those eyebrows up for me. So what we're looking at here for Andrea is where her forehead, her frontalis moves. We can see movement kind of right in through here. So we draw out where we see those muscle movements. And then Andrea, I'm going to have you smile really big for me, squeeze those eyes nice and tight so we can see she's not super strong in those lateral canthal lines or the crow's feet, but it just kind of gives us a little bit of an idea of where she's moving right in through there. So again, you know, the glabellar complex or the frown lines she has had injected in the past. Her forehead lines she has had injected in the past. But we're going to try some new things on her today as well. I'm going to have you smile really big but kind of crinkle up that nose for me. So you can see she's starting to get some of those little rhytids or little lines right across the nose and through there. And so we can actually put some Botox in through there as well to smooth those out just a little bit for her. And then I'm going to have you, Andrea, just take your head back just a little bit. And look towards the camera for me. I want you to pucker really nice and tight so you can see we're starting to get some of those vertical lip lines in through there. And then I'm going to have you frown your brow, or frown down for me. There you go, good. And relax. And we're getting some of what we call the DAO, or the depressor muscles, right in through here for the frown lines. And then we can also see just a little bit of that horizontal, there we go, that horizontal line starting to come in with the chin, or the montalis. So we're going to look at doing some injections down and around the mouth there as well. When we talk about dosing is usually pretty stable. The frown lines right in through here, we usually talk about anywhere from 20 to 30 units. Across the forehead is about 15 to 20 units for the forehead, and around the eyes we usually stick with right around 10 to 14. When we're injecting into the chin, it's about 8 units right in through there for her frown lines. We'll do 4 on each side, and then right across that upper lip for those vertical lip lines, we're going to look at about 40 units. And those are pretty standard dosings. We don't want to do anything too heavy down around that mouth area to impede movement. But right up in through here, we definitely want something that's going to hold. Still give her a very natural and lifted look. We're not looking to actually freeze her, which is a common misconception. What we're really looking at doing is just relaxing those muscles, still maintaining movement of the brow itself so everything looks really nice and natural. So we're going to get everything cleaned off, and then we're going to get started with her injections. All right, Andrea, so we have everything marked out where all of our injection points are going to be, so you can just kind of close your eyes and relax. We'll do the whole thing. You'll see it goes really very quickly. I am going to give you a little bit of ice though, and I just want you to hold right over here for me, and we're just going to inject ice each point as we do our injections. And you tell me when it feels cold. Right. So in the glabella here, we're going to do 20 units, pretty light standard dose. Ice right over that left eyebrow. You don't have too much in the way of movement through your corrugators. You come down a little bit further with your procerus into the nose muscles, the nasalis. Oh, there you go, nice. Just right in the middle there for me. And then you can take that ice and have you just wrap right around the top of the nose there for me. How are you feeling?
Good. Good. Not bad at all.
Okay, and then we're going to do your forehead. So I'm going to have you ice right over here on kind of that right side. You got it, perfect. So you do have a pretty active forehead, and we know that you've said before it just doesn't tend to last very long and through there. So we are going to go ahead and do 20 units in the forehead. Really doing more units, getting everything nice and quiet is what's going to give us our very best results as far as longevity goes. Still doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Erase right over on this side. Pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Problems? Okay. We'll do your eyes. I'm going to have you ice right over on that side for me. Here again, your eye muscles aren't really active, so we're going to just stick with a nice therapeutic 12 units on each eye. And then you can ice right over on the right side. What's nice about the eyes, even though you don't have very overactive lateral canthal lines is that it does really help to kind of open up this outside or lateral aperture of the eyes. It just gives you a nice overall lift and a little bit of opening. So make everything look a little bit softer for you. And then we're going to have you ice right down here in the chin. So we're just going to start at the top and work our way down. Like I said, for down around here, we have pretty standard dosing, so we just want to stick with the 8 in the chin here. It's just right over on this right side. And so remember, with Botox, we don't see the results right away. And it's going to take about 2 weeks before we really see anything happening. But after that 2 weeks, I always like to see you back so that we can just do any touch-ups or tweaks or anything that we need. Alright, last one. And that upper lip. You will start kind of feeling things starting to kick in right around 5 to 7 days. It's over there again for me. I know it's a pinchy one. I'm just going to use a little IntelliShade moisturizer. We'll just do a little wave. So really the nice thing about Botox is that you can get it done and just head back on out like nothing ever happened. So there, now you can do all your grocery shopping or your other errands that you had to run for the day. All right. All set.
Now you've been educated. When you're out in public or with your friends and hear Botox referenced as poison or that it lends an artificial look, you can correct them. You are now empowered with education, and remember, empowerment is beautiful.